that part of the reason Myles Garrett was so willing to sign this extension for contract, money. The Browns are negotiating as we speak with the Dallas Cowboys for a trade for Dak Prescott.
Bro, what are you talking about, man? Bro, I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping. What is up, man?
What's up, CFO gang? It's your boy Jay Tuck, and if you love football content, you are in the right spot. So do us a huge favor, comment, like, subscribe, and be sure to turn that notification bell. Now, y'all know what time of the year it is, man. A lot of people, they kind of fizzle out from draft content. Free agency is over, so people are going to start getting lazy as hell versus just going on a vacation, taking some time away with the family, taking some time away with, friends. They want to continue to do content, and they start to drown. So today, and I don't know this gentleman's name, I can't, I don't want to say, I'm not taking a shot at the old fella, right? But he went on his podcast, I guess, whatever it was, and he said that he got some inside news that the Dallas Cowboys are looking to trade Dak Prescott to the Cleveland Browns. Now, I'll say this first and foremost. Dak Prescott has a no-trade clause. Dak, my dog, listen to me. It's Tuck talking. It's me, Dak, talking to you, bro. If you were to ever remove your no-trade clause to go play in Cleveland, I would kick your ass down. Ain't no way I could be fighting for Dak Prescott for all these years only for him to remove his no-trade clause to go play in Cleveland. Dak, you wouldn't do that to us. I know Dak. Dak got, a beautiful wife. He has 2 kids. He not taking them from Dallas to Cleveland. Dak ain't even going to do that, right? But even if you don't talk about the no-trade clause, they have Deshaun Watson, which is one of the worst quarterback contracts in history. They just signed Myles Garrett. Oh my God. Oh my God. The Cleveland Browns would be able to only afford me to be the rest of the roster. Like, cut the BS, but I get it. Everyone got to get their clicks. Everyone got to get their paper. But come on, dog. Let's be real. Now, I know a lot of people has been talking, right? Cooper Rush, Tuck, he's going to Baltimore, which is interesting. Have Cooper Rush being a backup for Lamar Jackson, completely 2 different styles of quarterbacks, right? But salute to Cooper Rush. You have held us down many of years, right? So salute to Cooper Rush, even though I wasn't the biggest fan, right? And there's a possibility that my guy Trey Lance, for whatever reason, could be playing up there with Drake in Canada. So the Dallas Cowboys have a huge void to fill when it comes to getting a backup quarterback. Now, we do have Will Greer on the roster, but that ain't backup, right? So a lot of people's been asking me, yo, Tuck, who should the Dallas Cowboys consider for the backup quarterback position? Well, I'm glad you asked, right? I'm glad you asked because I have a list of a few players who I think could add some value to be the backup quarterback in Dallas. Now, let me headline with this. If that goes down, season's over. You know what I'm saying? Fire up the mocks, fire up the tank, right? But I still feel like there's some young quality guys that the Dallas Cowboys could bring in to fill in the void. So number 1, no particular order, a guy that I really like, and he's connected to the Dallas Cowboys in a few different ways, and that is Gabriel, quarterback out of the University of Oregon. Now, a lot of people say he's undersized. He's only 5'10", almost 5'9", but he does have some connections. Remember, he played at OU with Tyler Guyton, and also our wide receiver coach in Junior Adams was his wide receiver coach out there in Oregon as well. And we'll talk about Tej Johnson and some other players here, some other videos, right? But Gabriel is a guy who goes out there and just does his job. He has a lot of Dak Prescott-esque traits, and when I got the opportunity to speak with him at the Combine, I really liked the kid. He conducts himself like a true professional. He threw for over 3,500 yards, 30 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, so he doesn't take a lot of chances. One of the highest QBRs in college football. So Dillon Gabriel is a guy that if you were to bring him in Dallas, I would not be upset. Now, how high would you go? Well, we got some other priorities, right? So day 3, all these guys that I'm talking are day 3 because we ain't got no 4th round picks. So these are day 3 considerations. But if Dillon Gabriel's out there, I think he has high upside potential to be QB2 in Dallas. Now, another one, this has been a controversial guy, right? And I know he isn't the best quote unquote quarterback, but my goodness, y'all, when you see the man up close and personal, he is a creative player, and that is Jalen Milroe out of the University of Alabama. He's built like a tank. He should be Captain America. Like, this kid is solid. Now, he needs a lot of work as a quarterback and also as a passer, right? But he is a dual threat project, and with that size and athleticism, it's going to be hard to just pass up on those traits. Now, Tuck, it didn't work out for the last guy that kind of had it when you're talking about Trey Lance, but Jalen Milroe has played in the SEC. He's played in some bigger games than Trey Lance, but he is a guy that you can kind of put into your offense and have some things work, whether it's Wildcat or whatever. You just need him on the field. Hell, you might want to play him at left tackle. He's so damn big, right? Or tight end. But when it comes to Jalen Milroe, like I said, 16 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, right? Dual threat quarterback. Now, I know he isn't a complete project, y'all, but we just saw how there was another kind of a project guy out of Alabama who just won the Super Bowl. So I'm saying anything's possible. Anything is possible when it comes to Jalen Milroe, but you would definitely have to build your offense around him. Throwing the ball 30, 40 times. No. Cool little 17-20, and you add a running game around Jalen Milroe, you could have massive upside potential. Now, I know we're talking about drafting quarterbacks. The Dallas Cowboys have been linked to possibly trading for a quarterback, and that's Milton III. Out of the University of Tennessee, was a rookie last year and played 1 game for the New England Patriots, but I think they have their guy in Drake May, right? So you have the upside potential, and even though he played in 1 game last year, I think it's versus Buffalo, he was 22 for 29, 241, 1 touchdown. So you saw something, you saw some glimpses. Now, if you go to his Tennessee tape, we all know how Tennessee offense, this is spread offense, is throw that thing around. And I know that he had some injuries coming out of college, but Joe Milton could be a guy that if you're going to make a trade for, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Now, he was a 6th round pick. Jerry, don't get hoodwinked. Jerry, don't be giving up no 5ths. Right, don't be giving up no 5ths and stuff, getting hoodwinked out there, right? So give him a 6th, maybe a 7th or something, take that off your plate. But if you're going to go get a player like Joe Milton, who has some upside potential, even though he's an older prospect last year, don't get hoodwinked. But I still feel like Joe Milton could be a guy. Now, outside the draft and also outside the trade value, there's some free agents still available. Now, this guy isn't a sexy name, and y'all know I'm a KU guy, so you know what I mean, I dealt with this kid a lot, right? And that is Drew Lock, right? Coming out of the University of Missouri, he's in his 6th year, has 6 years of experience, played for the Giants last year, so he isn't a, oh my God, we got Drew Lock, no. But Drew Lock is your prototypical backup quarterback that can win you some games. We saw what he did in Seattle. We saw what he did even last year for the New York Giants, where Giants fans were like, yo, don't play Drew Lock, because if he plays, he gonna move us down the draft board, right? So Drew Lock is a guy that if you were able to bring him in, kind of a veteran guy, for maybe $2 million, $3 million, I feel like he can definitely kind of fill that void of being the backup quarterback to Dak Prescott, because he's a Band-Aid guy, but he's been through the fire. Now, you got to put the wizard hat on just a little bit, Tug, because we all know these names that you're talking about, but who was a sleeper? Who was a sleeper, Tuck? So grab your wine. You know what I'm saying? Work some of that J-Tuck magic. And there's a guy that's being talked about, but he isn't loud enough, but you could see some potential, especially on draft day, and that is Tyler out of Louisville. Now, he transferred from Texas Tech, but he's 6'5", 225, so he has the prototypical NFL frame. If you watch the Senior Bowl, he had a really good Senior Bowl. You know, he threw for 3,000 yards, 23 touchdowns, 6 interceptions last year at Louisville, has good awareness, can also move athletically outside the pocket, so there's a lot of upside potential when it comes to Tyler. Okay, well, Tuck, you're bringing up some Tyler kid out of Louisville, and he played in the Texas Tech air raid offense. Well, why aren't teams all over him? Why is he falling the draft? Why? Well, broken collarbone. Then he returned again, broke the collarbone again. Then had a fibula, so he's been banged up, right? So he's been banged up. So he has some wear and tear on his body. But if you're looking for a guy that can maybe be your Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, or maybe a 6th-round pick who's kind of sitting there, I would take a flight on Tyler out of Louisville because the frame and everything to work and mold is there. You just got to keep him safe. You got to put him in his, you know what I'm saying? You got to bubble wrap him. But he definitely has some potential. He's an older prospect, so he's seasoned, and that's what you're starting to see across the draft. You're seeing these guys who aren't 21, 22, right? These kids are 25, 26. They grown men with kids, so they definitely have played a lot of football, and I feel like he could be a sleeper pick to bring him in, and you can coach him up, and eventually he can turn to a quality backup NFL quarterback. So comment below, let me know who are some sleepers you are considering at the backup quarterback capacity in Dallas, because we ain't trading for Shador. Salute to my dog Dez, but we not getting no Shador in Dallas. We blew up the entire chances of getting Shador when we fumbled getting Coach Prime. So anybody that we get is going to be a backup for Dak Prescott. Plus, the money is just kicking in when it comes to Dak. And I know that hurts so many of you, but deal with it, man. So it's your boy J Tuck. Comment, like, subscribe. Follow me on all social media platforms at JTuck151. If you love football content, if you love talking football with context, if you love film studies and draft stuff, you're in the right spot. So subscribe to the channel, turn on that notification so you do not miss out. I want everyone to stay safe, stay blessed, stay encouraged, and stop clickbaiting on the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott. Just enjoy the offseason. Peace.